Alright, so what's up everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today's question I wanted to answer to a wider audience and spread more awareness of this question because I thought it was a brilliant, relevant question, and I didn't want to just keep it to the individual and myself because this was a very personal question. So for those who've been following me for a long time, they understand and know that I was obviously somebody who formerly suffered with an anorexia disorder and still to this day suffer with, you know, disordered eating. It's something that never goes, it never will go, but I have better control of it now. And like I said, so with me answering this question, it's from an anecdotal experience. You know, this is anecdotally speaking, and I'm going to be biased towards my own opinion. So when you listen to my perspective on how to deal with this question, take it with a pinch of salt, that other people will have different approaches and different thoughts when it comes to answering this question and dealing with this question. So the question was from Katie Liz 1. I've got the question in front of me, and it was practically asking how and when do you know when to transition from suffering with anorexia to going into a contest prep. Now, I thought that was a brilliant question because a lot of people go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. So they go from one extreme to the other. They go from suffering with anorexia and having a really poor relationship with food to thinking that bodybuilding and stepping on stage is going to help them deal with that eating disorder, when in fact stepping on stage and contest prep is to an extent a form of a eating disorder on its own. So it's going from one extreme to the other, and I personally think the transition from being a sufferer of anorexia and some form of disordered eating to stepping on stage requires a middle phase. And I think this is a lot of people that I think this is something that a lot of people don't understand, and that is that middle phase and the importance of this middle phase. So what's involved in this middle phase, in my own opinion, is this is where we have to understand the acceptance of food and developing that relationship with food as a whole. Understanding the facts of how our body responds to nutrition, what nutrition is as a whole, how does it all work, how do we build a better controllable relationship with food, how do we develop better behavioral patterns with food, and understanding the acceptance of how it reacts, you know, how our body reacts to nutrition in terms of weight loss, weight gain, and weight fluctuations on a daily, weekly, and even on an hourly basis. We have to understand all this and develop that solid relationship with food and nutrition as a whole before we can even consider stepping on stage. So in this middle phase, so transitioning from anorexia to contest prep requires that middle phase first of all, and this middle phase is where we can actually fully grasp nutrition as a whole and feel in a more comfortable position, feeling in that position where it doesn't mentally impact us as much as it did when we was severely suffering with anorexia. This is a place where now we understand that we can have a cheat meal every now and then. We can have foods that we once deemed as, you know, evil demon foods, and it's just going to cause a cascade of negative effects in terms of massive weight gain and make us obese, when in fact it doesn't. When we get to that stage, when we're able to control this and understand that when I say control this, we can never eliminate it altogether. Now, as I said earlier on in the beginning of the video, that I still to this day will, and I will always suffer for the rest of my life to an extent with eating disorder. I will always struggle with moments when it comes to having a cheat meal, having a burger, or having something that's off plan. But I have now a better control of those voices, and I know how to deal with the moment better. Whereas before, I had no control at all. The voices would always take over, And then the voices would always tell me what to do, and I would just listen and I would just follow instructions. Where now I can understand that it's okay to eat this burger. There may have some effects on my mental state to the point where I may feel a little bit guilty. I may feel bad while I'm eating that meal, but I understand that it's okay. Those voices tend to just go away eventually because I have that control of those voices. I have more control of the reins. I have more control of my own body and how I react emotionally, physically and mentally to these moments. So once we get to that stage and we've developed that solid relationship with food and nutrition as a whole, and we're even including going out for social interactions which involve food. So going out for a meal with friends, loved ones or family, maybe it be a birthday or some sort of celebration that involves food. When we're at that stage that we can go there without even thinking about it beforehand, I'm like, what am I going to eat? I got to make sure that I pick the best, healthiest option. But if we could just go there, have the meal, socialize, have fun, and not even think about it and not feel guilty, that is when I feel like we're in a perfect position to then consider a contest prep. Not jump into a contest prep, but consider a contest prep, because we're in a better, healthier, safer position and understanding of nutrition, and we have better mental health stability, so we can control the effects of these issues when they occur better and in a more controlled manner. So I always think that the middle phase is very, very important. It's pivotal that we transition first of all from anorexia to this middle phase, get in that better relationship, and then we can consider stepping on stage. Don't go from one extreme to the other. Don't think that if you're somebody who suffers with, disordered eating patterns and any sort of anorexia or even bulimia, don't believe and think that just going into a contest prep is going to resolve all those problems, because it's not. If anything, it's going to cause a cascade of more negative, harmful effects on your mental state, emotional state, and even your physical state. So make sure you get yourself into that middle phase first. Transition from whatever your mental health issue is to that stage where you're able to control it better, and even have other people, professional people that are able to help you get into that stage. And then I think it's okay to consider and think about a contest prep. So that's my take, and again, this is my biased opinion on this question, and I think it was a very, very brilliant question to ask. So take it with a pinch of salt. Other people will have a different perspective on the answer to this question, so it's down to you on whose advice that you want to take. But this is anecdotally speaking. This is from somebody who suffered with anorexia, who was able to get to that point where I was able to control the voices better. I was able to understand nutrition and my relationship with food better, to the point where it didn't affect me as much. And then from there, I considered about stepping on stage, and is it going to help me in a positive way, and can it push me forward in regards to my career and where I want to go. And then when I made that decision and I delved into a contest prep, I knew that the outcome was going to be better because I was in that better position, and the outcome was more positive. I was in a more stable place during the contest prep and after the contest prep. Hopefully that all makes sense. I felt like I've rambled on a little bit, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, like I said, Katie Liz won. That was a brilliant question to ask. And like I said, it was a personal question, and I think that it was relevant to answer this question on YouTube for more people to be aware of it and just get an understanding from my perspective. So hopefully this video did help anybody out. If it did, please let me know by dropping a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you're somebody who suffers with anorexia or previously did suffer with anorexia, let me know your thoughts on this question and how you dealt with it or how you would deal with it. Other than that, guys, if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, give this video a like, support the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.